Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Backlot Banter movie review. My name is Tucker Hazel, of course. I am joined by my co-host, Tanner Dykstra, who is my Super Mario brother from another Super Mario mother. And today we're here to talk about the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but not the one you're thinking of. No. This is the gritty live-action reboot of the Super Mario Bros.
This is
franchise.
your granddaddy's Super Mario Bros. Movie.
It is, yes. A movie that came out 30 years ago that we've only heard bad things about.
Yes.
But we had to sit down and watch it in preparation for the Illumination Super Mario Brothers animated movie coming out very soon. And we're here to give you our thoughts on this film as a piece of Nintendo's history that has sort of been lost to time as maybe one of, if not the very first video game adaptations, a genre that is now burgeoning. But, of course, if you like video games, if you like Mario, if you like movies, if you like, I don't know, peanut butter, join our Discord. I like talking about peanut butter in there.
Even if you're allergic to peanuts, you can join the Discord.
You can talk about that.
Yeah, you can talk about your allergies. That's okay.
Yeah.
And make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of you freeloaders out there who are watching our videos without subscribing to the channel. And if I catch any of you, I swear I'm going to smash your Goomba head in.
I'm going to de-evolve you.
I'm going to de-evolve you, baby.
But yeah, Tanner, we watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, a movie that I had very low expectations for.
Yeah, same here.
What do you think of the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
The Super Mario...
Or no, actually, it's just called Super Mario Bros. Because the new one coming out soon is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Exactly. Yes. This is just Super Mario Bros. And
clean, simple, drop the.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the movie. Super Mario Bros. It's a hell of a time, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 100 minutes long, and it's like non-stop. It is just go. There's no like breath you can take during Super Mario Bros. It's just go. It's loud, it's brash, there's cars, there's people, there's sparks flying, there's goo everywhere, there's Goombas everywhere, and honestly, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I think that it's a very good time to reevaluate this film, not in the context of Mario being the new and culturally defining franchise that it was at the time. Mario is something more established. We know its identity now, but at the time, I can imagine people being like, what the hell is this? Because guess what? This has basically nothing to do with Mario. There are elements that are lightly designed to kind of be like a game series in that we got two guys. And they're maybe brothers, maybe not. They've got a crazy age
Leguizamo
gap.
Is adopted?
You mean you don't know who your mother and your father are neither?
No, what do you mean neither?
Because Mario here brought me up. He's been my mother my whole life.
Hey.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We've got a woman named Daisy.
Yes.
We've got a guy called King Koopa.
Yes.
We've got a dinosaur named Yoshi, who's barely in the film. And we have guys that are called Goombas, but are big body.
Do not resemble Goombas in the slightest.
No. But all of that makes this a surreal experience. It is nothing like what you'd expect from a video game adaptation because it follows basically none of the source material other than save a princess kind of from a castle or just a tall building, I guess. And it doesn't even incorporate like growing big for mushrooms or stomping on the bad guys. None of what you expect is there. But I think that's okay because using this twisted, dark, punished version of the Mario world to just sort of have fun with creative set design and costumes and wacky sci-fi concepts and sort of pull in some Terry Gilliam Brazil weirdness and some RoboCop sort of Blade Runner futuristic aesthetic. It is sort of an amalgamation of everything that 80s and 90s sci-fi action was. And I think it's all the better for that. I think that a straightforward guy go save woman from castle movie would not be very interesting. But what we get here is just crazy sci-fi ridiculous horseshit, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, what would that have even looked like back in 1993?
No idea.
And I do think it is better for taking on this aesthetic because ultimately, like, it's so weird. It's so weird that they did this. And from what we've heard about the behind-the-scenes production of this film, it was supposed to film for 5 weeks. It ended up going to 17 weeks. Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were often drunk on set to cope with the insane amount of shenanigans and just incompatibility that was going on. The directors of this film were a married couple who were fighting at the time, and were fighting with each other and were fighting with the studio about what the film would be. They wanted it to be more adult. The studio wanted it to be more kid-friendly, and who ended up winning in that? Ended up winning in that fight? Tell. Yeah, it's really hard to tell because there is like the whole city and the clubs and everything they go into have a weird like BDSM sort of vibe to them, and it's odd. It's really odd.
Yeah, it is odd, and it feels like there's nothing quite like it because you can still tell that they're reaching for a mildly family-friendly audience of they're not shooting real bullets. There's like fireballs.
Yeah.
The characters are making funny quips. Mario and Luigi have this sort of funny bond going on. And Luigi is chasing after Daisy, but it's not like a super lustful way. It's just like, he really wants to get a girl who kind of likes. And it's a silly movie, but that silly tone of you stick a guy's head in like this pressure cooker and it comes out as like a tiny mushroom guy. Like there's so much goofiness to this film, but that is also in a weird way I think perfectly balanced out by how gritty it is. I started by saying gritty realistic reboot, which we think of the 2000s of that era where that really started happening, but this is wet streets and like people laying on the side of the road in trash as they're like smoking a gigantic cigar, and like we're going into nightclubs and we're hiding in trash compactors. Like this is a gross movie. But I really did enjoy that because I think this movie's greatest strength is its production design, which I think is actually very, very good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look cheap at all. There's so many practical effects. You've got the Goomba head masks that are like sort of animatronic, and they move their eyebrows and they open their mouth like that and they go like this. And Yoshi looks really good. It has a sense of place and realism and grittiness and texture to it that is matched by other things in this time, something like Blade Runner or RoboCop, movies that I like quite a bit. But trying to add that aesthetic to Mario makes no sense, but it still ends up working for this movie.
Makes no damn sense. Compels me, though. And
Absolutely.
it is compelling for that reason. And I think there's also something to be said about the pacing of this film, which is basically 100 miles an hour from the word go. It ramps up a bit in the first, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But once we are in Koopa City, Mushroom Kingdom, what do we call in this place?
Alternate dimension where dinosaurs were the ones that ruled the world instead of monkeys, but they just evolved to be humans. They don't have scales. They don't. I mean, some people do. Some people have kind of dinosaur-ish faces, but not everyone. And our main people that we're familiar with from this are just Daisy, who's just a normal human being.
Yeah.
And Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, and he just has funny hair.
Yeah.
That's what dinosaurs evolved into. It makes no sense.
Makes no damn sense, but compels me though. That's basically like the tag. That should be the tagline for Super Mario Bros. 1993.
Yeah.
Tucker, should we talk about anything other specific here? You want to talk about the Mario Brothers themselves?
Yes, perfect.
Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, the massive age gap that these brothers have. They do the joke here, and I love that they do it because it's very funny, and I still find it funny about the Mario Brothers in general, that his name is Mario, and he's Luigi Mario is his brother.
Okay, how many Marios are there between the two of you?
There's three. There's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Mike! Up these Marios around the side.
Very fun. I love that joke. I just love that that's a little thing that is canon for the Mario Brothers.
Yes.
But not a lot about this is canon for the Mario Brothers, is it now?
No. But I think that's also what gives this movie its own identity, because something I've often criticized Mario for is being very simple and not having a real story or world to call its own. Of course, that's kind of the appeal of it, that it can be spun off and you can go karting and you can go partying and do whatever. Mario's just crazy. He's becoming a doctor. He's going to build things.
He's playing tennis. He's playing baseball.
Yeah, you can't stop the guy. But this movie needed something more, and ostensibly just creating a a real world counterpart of these brothers who are just plumbers and they're kind of down on their luck and they're
Plumbers.
Plumber alert.
they just do their best in this crazy scenario.
Yeah.
I think makes him very endearing. They're not heroes. They're not really great guys. They're just kind of simple and
Just
trying their
dudes.
best.
Yeah.
And I like that quite a bit because it lends them a pretty good amount of relatability for this ridiculous scenario. And I called it an isekai, and it's absolutely true. They're just reacting to this weird shit around them as we are. At first they're kind of confused of like, oh, what the heck happened here? You know, Brooklyn looks a little bit different than I remember it. But then they meet dinosaurs and there's goop everywhere, and they're like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, yeah, what the hell is going on? I'm glad they're not like incorporated into this world already. They're not super familiar with everything. It makes the weird world of this movie feel foreign, and like a couple New Yorker guys could just stumble in here and just try to figure things out, and that gives the film a sense of palpable fun and energy and relatableness, which you don't expect out of movies like this. I don't relate to RoboCop or Decker when I'm watching these films, but like placing two guys from Brooklyn into basically Blade Runner is kind of a compelling concept.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if we don't want to talk about like things that we know about Mario that don't really happen in this film until the very end, like wearing the Mario and Luigi colors, there's almost like a concerted effort to make sure that they are swapped for the entire film. There's a club scene where you would imagine that they're wearing red and green suits, but Mario's wearing like a yellow suit.
Yeah.
And then he's like grabbing the crystal around this woman's neck and he's like looking at her big old boobs and he's like trying to grab it with his teeth. And that there are just funny bits in here like that where you're like, are the filmmakers, are they just having fun here? Or are they like cracked out of their mind 90s couple who are like thinking they're making high art and they're making Blade Runner for families or something like that? I don't know. But ultimately, like, I think what it's going to come down to here is it's just wacky, zany fun. Yeah. There comes a point where we were having fun throughout the rest of this film. We were watching it with two of our friends. We were cheering. We were making fun of the lines. It's all a good time. And then there's a point where I'm like, okay, the fun's dipping a little bit. I feel, you know.
Sure. Okay. Do you have a sequence where you can pinpoint that?
Oh well, I have a sequence where I pinpointed as coming back actually.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because I felt like we were going 100 miles an hour for too long. I'm like, I'm getting motion sickness from all this movement. And then we get to the part where Mario rescues all the dizzy dames from Brooklyn, and they go down a frozen tube on like a toboggan of a mattress, chased by two giant Goomba guys, one of whom is like riding on top of the other one as if he were a sled. I'm like, this is what it is, okay? Yeah. You just have to be in it. You just have to be having fun. And that's all there is to Super Mario Bros. You're just having fun.
Yeah. And I think that pacing also just lends it a different energy and a more family-friendly energy than these other films that I think, as we've said, are kind of aping on. Brazil, RoboCop, Blade Runner. These are more serious films. And yeah, Blade Runner and RoboCop have their action moments, but this is nonstop in a different way and sort of goofy in a different way that gives it a family-friendly adventure movie kind of vibe. We're always moving on to the next sequence. It feels almost like Goonies or Star Wars in that kind of way of we got to keep going. We're on our quest. There's no stopping now. We can't turn back. And that energy did absolutely carry me all the way through.
Yeah.
It's a movie that I think if you stop and think about it too much, it starts to fall apart in terms of our characters' motivations are really simple. Yeah. They don't necessarily have a character arc. Either of them have a character arc across the course of the film. The lore of this world with the meteorite that's splitting the dimensions that can be healed by the one tiny shot. None of that makes any sense. But I don't think it needs to be a compelling, fun world that I enjoy spending over 90 minutes in because it is incredibly well produced and it looks really interesting and it has unique elements that I thought were really, really fun.
Yeah. It's cotton candy. You know,
Yeah.
It's fun to eat it. It's a fun sugary snack. You're on your sugar high the whole time. But if you try to get your hands in there, you're gonna get all sticky. It's gonna dissolve in your hands. You know, so just enjoy it. Just enjoy it while it lasts. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if there's anything else I have to add. Dennis Hopper is chewing scenery in this. It seems like actors of this ilk in this kind of movie in this era just love to do that. They love to be in a bad movie where they're like just the best part about it. They're shouting, they're screaming, they're being like hand-wringingly evil. And I love that for Dennis Hopper in this film.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of apply that to all the actors. I think Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, we know retrospectively that they weren't having a great time on set, but I don't think you can really tell in the film because I think that they're
not
bringing
phoning it
a lot of energy. They're really selling some of these scenes, especially I think John Leguizamo being the focus of this film as Luigi, which is a little bit strange because I do think Mario gets kind of shafted in terms of the film sort of being about Luigi and Mario's kind of along for the ride, like chasing after him. I think that feels a little bit imbalanced, but they are absolutely bringing an energy that I think, again, lends a realism to this world.
Yeah. Honestly, Tucker, I don't know if the new Mario Brothers is going to live up to this one. Frankly.
Maybe not, but
it's more purely Mario, and this is not purely Mario in any sense of the imagination.
Mario.
I wonder what Nintendo thought of this. Actually, were they happy
I wonder what they think
this?
of it now.
That's a good point, actually.
Well, they couldn't have been too happy with it because it lost them a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Which is crazy to think about. That Mario at the height of its popularity.
What Mario games were coming out around 93?
In 91? I think we're smack between or just around Mario World and Super Mario 64 with the launch of the N64. So it really was at the height of Mario being number one at the video game office, but not the box office because this movie did not make a lot of money. But I would say this is a good movie. I think it should be reevaluated. I think taken on its own terms as a weird corrupted Mario, but a fun movie nonetheless. Punished Mario. That's what I said. Yeah. With genuinely very good production design and lots of creative sequences that are well made and actors that are not having a fun time, but you see the characters having a fun time in this movie. This is exactly what it should have been. Or not should have been because it should have been a big deal. It made a lot of money and brought prestige to Nintendo at the box office. But
you don't think it's brought prestige to them, Tucker?
As a weird part of Nintendo's history, of film history, of this genre of video game adaptations, this is a big surprise for me because I expected it to just be bad, boring, nothing going on, really lame sets. Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo not bringing the energy. And I think that it completely inverted all my expectations for that.
Yeah. Good movie, you know.
Good movie.
Just make one of these with Chris Pratt, you know. Make one of these with Chris Pratt and Charlie Day and call it good.
God.
Dust your hands, Nintendo. Call it a day.
Yeah. Tanner, you want to give this movie a score?
Oh, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for you? Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit higher to 7.3 out of 10. I think it's fun. As I said, I kind of did my closing spiel already.
Yeah.
I'm burping like Mario.
Does he burp? Does he burp a lot?
I burped, so I just want to say that.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm gonna keep saying this in every video. I don't want you to be a freeloader. Don't be a Goomba. Subscribe to the channel, okay? Lots of freeloaders out there. Also, join the Discord. Talk about this movie with us. We'd love to hear if you watched this in 1993 or yesterday, and you want to, and you thought it sucked or you thought it was awesome. Let us know in the Discord. Link in the description. We'll see you next time.